YAHAWASHI, Wakabar, Wahadar, Abba, Abanawa, YAHAWASHI. Alright. Shalom, Wabaraki, Amman Bakiyar. Dawada, Abba, Abanawa, Alahaya Nawa, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for giving me the Rakachodash to be able to come back and do another video, a lesson, or hopefully something that could be edification, preaching the gospel, ammunition, or exhortation for the faithful elect, the Amman Bakiyar. Alright? So it's your brother Shawayah coming back, and we're just going to get into it. YAHAWASHI died for Israelites. YAHAWASHI died for Israelites only, at that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and go straight to it. Romans 15:4. Now, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So once again, Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right? So hope being pretty much, let me explain why I put that scripture first. So pretty much why people don't understand that YAHAWASHI only died for the Israelites is pretty much because of that. They haven't, went through the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing error by not knowing the scriptures or whatever. So, they're just making up stuff. But you're going to have hope, you so-called Negroes, Native American, Indians, and Latinos, also called by if that's what your father is, right? This is only for you. You're going to have comfort and hope that YAHAWASHI, because you are in fact the Israelite, those people go back to the Israelites. These bywords was a curse of the Israelites being called outside of your God-given name. You're gonna have hope by the end of this, because you're gonna prove that YAHAWASHI only died for the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? He died for Israelites. Okay, so people they haven't learned. They haven't learned that. They haven't learned that. They just simply haven't learned that because they haven't went back and read the things that are written aforetime. Everything written aforetime told us who YAHAWASHI was going to come for and die for. Who he's going to come to and die for. Literally. All right? We're going to go ahead and get straight to it. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. It says, Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? Verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there was no beauty that we should desire him. Because YAHAWASHI, this is talking about YAHAWASHI, when he will come, YAHAWASHI is an austere man. And when you go into that word austere, I actually got it printed out. But pretty much, if you go into etymologyonline.com, I'll actually do a lesson on this, Lord willing. Hopefully I'll do it after this. Now, pretty much when you go into that word austere, just means simple, right? Plain. He ain't all done up. Here, Jake, he got salt. He is salt, but However, he's still austere. Okay, that's just how the Lord is, and that's just how he was when he came. Now, to explain the previous point in verse 2, or the beginning of verse 2, he said, "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant." You know, YAHAWASHI really was he's loving, you know what I'm saying? And it's not that romance love, it's that love according to the scriptures, which it talks about in 1 John and 2 John, I believe. All right? You know, and also in the law, Leviticus chapter 19. So he was about that love, that tenderness, you know what I'm saying? He was able to be perfect, you know, be tender towards his brother. That's one of the curses that's put upon Israelites, as you know in Deuteronomy 28. Now, we're just sticking on a point, but I'm just explaining everything. And it says, "And as a root out of a dry ground, he had no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him." You know, he's not all done up. You know, he's not of the wisdom of this world. You know, he's a real simple dude. And that root goes back to Isaiah chapter 11. It talks about that root growing out of the stem of Jesse. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1, it said, "And there shall come a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots." See? Out of his roots. It's talking about YAHAWASHI too. He's that stem. He's that branch. You know what I'm saying? That was going to grow out of the roots, the stock, the lineage of Jesse. What was Jesse? He was a Judite. He was an Israelite. It says, verse 2, "And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, and the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahweh. Okay, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahweh. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked." All right? So that's just that really quick. So back to it. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 2. It says, "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground." Right? So he came out of the roots of Jesse. Right? It says, "He hath no form nor comeliness, and when he shall see him, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we shall desire him." Verse 3, "He is despised and rejected of men." See? A man of sorrows, because he's austere. Austere also goes into being gloomy, like you're a so-called downer, you know? It says, "A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief." See? Because the Lord, as it tell you in Ecclesiastes, it's better to dwell in the house of mourning than the house of mirth. All right? Because it keep your mind, you know, occupied with true sanity. You know, because if you're not occupied with true sanity, being thus, and you only have true sanity if you're dealing with the truth, you're insane. You know what I'm saying? But this world is upside down. You know, I tell you that in Isaiah chapter 29, I think chapter 29. "Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay," which it is, because it later, that's Old Testament, right? They tell you later on that Yahweh has made the wisdom. They tell you that in 1 Corinthians chapter 1. They tell you that the Most High, he made foolishness the wisdom of this world. Really quick. Let me see if I can verse 20. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20. It says, "Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have not Yahweh made foolish the wisdom of this world?" So there you go. You know? And then I'm gonna give another point really quick. It says, verse 21, "For after that, in the wisdom of Yahweh, the world by wisdom knew him not," because the wisdom of this world, everyone operating off, is foolishness. So when it comes to actually knowing the Lord, they wouldn't know him. because they operate on foolish. He only gave true wisdom to the elect of the Israelite nation. And it says, it said the world by wisdom knew not God, because the wisdom of this world is foolishness, and the Most High is not foolishness. It says, so they don't know the Most High. It pleased Yahweh by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe, because everything that's truly wise is esteemed foolishness. And people don't know everything they esteem wise is foolishness, if I just made sense. So everything that this world is truly foolishness, but everybody don't know that, and they believe that their wisdom, which is truly foolishness, they think if you're not going off the standards of this world, everything is foolishness. So that's why I said about preaching is foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So we're standing out on these corners preaching to save them that believe. That's foolish with this world. They call us bums. We got dresses on and all type of stuff. We don't have jobs and all this other type of stuff. You know. In verse 25, because the foolishness of Yahweh is wiser than men. So the foolishness of Yahweh is wiser than men. You know. So they esteem us preaching to them that believe as foolishness, but it's of the Most High. So that's why it's still wiser than men, because they're truly foolish. You know? You can understand, it says, and the weakness of Yahweh is stronger than man. So there you go, man. It says, verse 26, for ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called, but Yahweh hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound, the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Yahweh hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. You know, but I ain't gonna keep going. That's pretty much it. So that's, I was gonna get the Ecclesiastes, you know, to explain why he, you know, it says verse 4 in Isaiah chapter 53, because the point is to prove that he only died for the Israelites, but this edification as we're going along, I'm gonna cut it short because I don't want to go off track. I'm gonna get to the point and be done. So Isaiah chapter 53, verse 4 reads, it says, or first verse 3, Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3, it says, he is despised and rejected of men. And because of that, there you go. You got to understand it now. A man of sorrows. And according, it said, he's a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. It says, so he gets close to grief, because it's better to dwell in the house of mourning than the house of, you know, foolishness. I'm gonna try to get it really quick, because people don't know this, man. Like it's I think it's 7. Shalaki, give me 1 second. Like, for instance, it says, well, here we go, chapter 7, verse 2. It says, it is better, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2. And I ain't gonna go into that. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men. And the living will lay it, it says, and the living will lay it to his mind. So if you're truly alive, you're going to think about that. Like, you know, it truly is better to do that. Verse 3, it says, sorrow is better than laughter. For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. You know, verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart in your mind is your heart. It says, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. That's laughter and, celebrating, goddamn retirement parties and Christmas parties, you know what I'm saying? Christ mass parties, So that's why Yahawashi was like this, but people don't understand. And the world is the world that we always has been in, that the Israelites we always have been in, has been the world of Esau, because this is Esau's kingdom right now. Esau's kingdom has been ruling since Esau's kingdom has been, active since he was born. Since Jacob and Esau were born, and it was just all the process of him finally getting it set up, So it's slowly, we're in a time now where it's at the end, we pulling him down by the heel, So that's that. So that's why, and Esau represents the wicked. So that's why this world is foolish. He made the wisdom of this world foolishness, but the world of Jacob is not foolish. It won't be foolish at all. It will be truly the wisdom of God. This earth is going to be perfect. All right? It's going to be a perfect balance. We're going to be made gods, and the Israelites, and everybody else is going to be still foolish. So it's going to be perfect because it's a balance. Anyway, it's not perfect now because it's not a balance, It's really not a balance. Everything is out of whack, out of course. So verse 4. It says, verse 3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not. So this is proving it's talking about Yahawashi. So verse 4, surely he had borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Who is this talking about? Who's the R? Here we go. It says, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Yahweh and afflicted. So the Most High had him smitten, killed, punished, right? It's talking about Yahawashi, who you people ignorantly call Jesus. It says, but he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement, see, this ain't had nothing to do with nobody else. This is always about the Israelites. Verse 5, he was wounded for our transgressions. What is transgression? Now we're into it. 1 John. Find out what is transgression. First John chapter 3, verse 4. And it reads, First John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committed sin transgressed also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So transgression is transgressing the law, which the sin. So there you go. But he was back in Isaiah 53 and 5. It says, but he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. So he was wounded. Who was only people given the law? Only people that was given the law is the Israelites. Period. Let's prove this real quick. Never get wore out. This is how you stay sharp. So I don't need that no more. So that's that. Transgression is the breaking of the law. Sin is the transgressing of the law. Simply is just the breaking of the law. All right? Which is why we need Yahawashi. Psalms 147, verse 19. And it reads, he sheweth his word. Who's the he? The Most High, Yahweh. He sheweth his word. Who's the word? Yahawashi. He sheweth his word unto Jacob. Who's Jacob? The Israelites. His statutes and his judgments. What is that? That's the law. Unto Israel. That's the Israelites. Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So there you go, man. It's just that simple. Now, I'm going to get one more scripture to back that up really quick. Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word. So he's never dealt with it. No one else has ever had the law but the Israelites. Period. Hear this word. Oh, that ain't clear enough. Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. See? So Israelites, this your family, Israelites, man. Ain't no Johnsons and Smiths and no, we're the Israelites, man. It says, once again, Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. What does it say in Isaiah chapter 53? He was wounded for our what? There you go. It's about to say it. It says, verse 5, Isaiah chapter 53, verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions, which is the transgression of the law, sin. He was bruised for our iniquity. And the only people that could transgress, technically, was the Israelites. He was bruised for our iniquities. He said, who is he going to punish for their iniquities? Only the Israelites, because he's the only ones that the Most High we're the only ones the Most High have known. So he was bruised for our iniquity. Who's the he that was bruised? YAHAWASHI. Who was wounded for the transgressions? YAHAWASHI. So there you go. It just really simply proved it right there. YAHAWASHI only died for Israelites. It says, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And to make everything right, it was put upon him. It's for the Israelites, for us. It says, and with his stripes we are healed. See? Verse 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way. See? All we, who's the all we? We can prove it real quick. Like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and Yahweh have laid on him the iniquity of us all, because Israel became lost sheep. Now watch this. Jeremiah chapter 50, and we're going to start at verse, we'll cut this short by spirit. Verse 50, we're going to start at verse 6. Jeremiah 50 and verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned from me. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Okay? Verse 7, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, like they doing now. This is only about Israelites, man. Yahawashi only came, so-called Jesus, he only came for and died for the Israelites. And he's coming back to kill Israelites that didn't want to accept this good news, this gospel, don't want to get right, and to wound all the enemies of Israelites. And to put this world under his rulership, man, under the righteous rulership of the house of Jacob, man, which he in fact is. Yahawashi is of the house of Jacob. He's the son of God, all right? And we're the sons of God, our big brother, you know? We are joint heirs. So Yahawashi only did all this. This only went down for us. It says, verse 7, it says, all that found them have devoured them. Everybody that found the Israelites, they just made a mockery of us. They used us and abused us, and that's it, man. That's it. You came over here, you devoured the Native American Indians, who you in fact found out were Israelites and knew they were Israelites, which is how you found America, because you read the Apocrypha. I tell you that, and they let you know these things in their own movies, their own documents, their own documentation. You know, the origins of the Native American Indians, I believe. All right, I think his name James Adair. You know, you got that. You got the Decalogue stone. You know what I'm saying? The Back Creek stone. We got all type of, you know, artifacts and stuff that have came out. But you came over here, and these people, the Northern Kingdom Israelites, our brethren, you know, you devoured them. You found them and devoured them. They taught you how to live off the land. You made trees with them. You broke every last one of them, Esau. Okay? So this don't have nothing to do with everybody. That's why this is saying this. This is the vision of all. It says, their adversary said, we offend not. So after you did that, you thought none of it. Even till this day, you put them on reservations, broke every treaty. Now they're just strung out drunks and, you know, cursed, you know, but they're the children of God. And you're going to pay for that. It says, we offend not because they have sinned against Yahweh. So that proves right here, only we can sin. So if it just said that he was wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities, and transgressions is sins, and iniquities is sins as well as we're just doing wrong against the Most High. It says they have sinned. We could do what we want to them because we understand their blueprint, their layout, who they are as a people. So, and this is how everyone makes a come up over us. Every kingdom that has ruled has had the Israelites in it. If you just look into history. But they keep the Israelites out of it and try to act like it's a fairy tale. It was a fairy tale people. They mentioned Queen Alexander the Great, the damn fake, the freak, whatever. And they don't mention that he had to run in with the Maccabees, which were Jews, the real Jews. Judas Maccabeus, and his sons. I believe Simon, Jonathan, and so forth. We had defiled Jerusalem. We had to rededicate the temple because we won and defeated him because he died after a short run, you know. But anyway, they understood they could do these things because we were sin. When we're in sin and not in good standing with our power, Yahweh, everybody can come up over us and we could be defeated. And we're the salt in the motor of the earth. So if you can just use us, but not and keep us at a standpoint where we're not good with our power, you're basically harnessing a superpower. How they come with superfoods, that's what you're basically doing, you know. And they know YAHAWASHI only died for us. Okay, so that's pretty much it on that, man. Like, to be straight, you know. It says, we offend not because they have sinned against the Lord. The habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. See that? Now verse 17, last verse, it says, Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First the king of Assyria have devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, have broken his bones. You know? Verse 18, therefore thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will punish king of Babylon and his land, and as I have punished the king of Assyria. You know? And that's it, man. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to these people, man. And that's why you think YAHAWASHI, when he came, he said in Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, he said this. He continued that, fulfilling, which is what he meant by Matthew 5 and 17, not to end the law, but fulfill. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, he said it right here. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Period. He only died for us. Everything he came to do was only for the Israelites, man. Period. So verse 6 back in Isaiah 53, it says, all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way. And Yahweh hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. Verse 7, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep, because he's an Israelite too. And as a sheep, but he the only one that didn't go off. It says, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth. Because when you take lambs, they die silent. They don't make any noise. That's, we just deal with it, man. We don't kill ourselves. We don't do none of that. You Edomites not built like us. That's why he said in the beginning, when you go read that in Genesis chapter 27, the account of when Jacob and Esau was born, said one shall be stronger than the other. Y'all can't deal with oppression and suffering and affliction. You quick to kill yourself, jump off the bridge, kill your wife, kill your kids, and kill yourself. We don't do that, man. We just suffer and afflicted. After almost 500 years of this, you have not been able to commit a genocide on a entire race of people who you have separated and made think because we're tribes and so many of us, we were put into tribes that, Mexicans ain't the same as black people. That don't even make no sense because you got light-skinned black people who are darker, who are lighter than most Mexicans. And have fuller features than them as well. Mexicans have a big nose, big lips. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Same spirits. We do the same stuff. Into the same things. Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? Cubans. Dominicans. Haitians. West Indians. People from the islands. North American Indians. Argentinians, Chileans, Uruguayans, Colombians, all so-called, man. You're going to pay. You're going to pay, man. He only died for us, period. But when, you take a lamb to the slaughter, they don't make any noise, man. That's why I said, and as a sheep before his shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth because he's, in fact, an Israelite. He was and he still is an Israelite. Verse 8, but he's a God now. Incorruptible now. It says, verse 8, he was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. He was taken away. He didn't continue on, have a lineage, He was a part of the lineage, though, and he was the Lord. It says, for the transgression of my people was, who's my people? Jeremiah 50:6. Jeremiah 50:6. No, Jeremiah. Jeremiah 50:6. Let me read this one more time. Isaiah 53:8. He was taken from prison. No, Isaiah 53:9. It said, and he made his grave, Salakia. Verse 8. It says, he was taken from prison and from judgment. Who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people. Who's my people? This is talking about the Most High saying that. It says, for the transgression of my people was he stricken. Who was his people? It says, Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep. Who was the lost sheep? Jeremiah 50:17. Israel is a scattered sheep. Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So it's just a wrap, man. It says, verse 9, and he was stricken for the transgression of only the Israelites, man. Period. Us, man. He only died for us, man. Period. Verse 9, and he made his grave with the wicked, because they when the Lord was crucified, they crucified him with robbers and murderers and stuff like that. It says, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. He suffered it, because it was for us. Verse 10, yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him. He had put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin. What is sin? The transgression of the law. Who is given the statutes and judgments? Only Israel. Psalms 147:19-20. Amos 3:1 and through 2. It says, for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahweh shall prosper in his hand. So, because he's a God now. He was a God then. He's incorruptible now. It says, verse 11, he shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. Yahweh it pleased him because he saved all of his people. And he knew he was going to bring Yahweh right back. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. Who's the many? Israelites. For he shall bear their iniquities. Period, man. What it tell you in Jeremiah 50 and that these damn heathens understand when they come against us? Verse 7, Jeremiah 50 and 7, all that found them devoured them, and their adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh. They have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even of Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. So there you go, man. They know, y'all know, the elites know what's going on. You know? It says he will justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Verse 12, therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, which is the elect, because he hath poured out his soul unto death. See? And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors, which is Israelites. So with that, oh, and you heard it out of his mouth. He said, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of Israel. One more scripture. Malachi. Malachi 3 and 6. I'm going to get one more to back that up for the other side of this. Malachi 3 and 6. It says, for I am Yahweh. I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's it, man. That's what he had Isaiah seeing right. That's what YAHAWASHI came to fulfill. And he professed it out of his own mouth. I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Yahweh never changed. And that's why it went down like that. And you can't change it now. So we're just waiting, man. It's a waiting game now. We just continue to go out in this vineyard and work, which is Israel. So we're going to get one more scripture. It says, Hebrews 13 and 8. YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. Verse 9, be not carried. So he don't change. That's what he said. He came. He was only sent for them. He never changed. When he said, well, what about, he said, preach this to all the nations, because Israel was scattered everywhere, spiritually and physically. Be not carried about with diverse strange doctrines. I'm going to read it one more time. Hebrews 13 and 8. YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. Be not carried away with diverse and strange doctrines. For it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. So you just need to know that the grace that was given to you as an Israelite, that's the main thing, man. Start with that, because these meats ain't occupying you. You don't even know the Lord only died for Israelites. He the same yesterday, today, and forever. Yahweh, he changes not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So with that, I hope that's been edifying. Call Halam, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Wakabah, Wakadar, Shalom, Aman, Bakayar. Till next time. And to the rest of the 1/3 on down, say Shalom, Waparakiam. All right? Shalom, Shalom.